Now, joining me for more on this, we're joined by Laura Blumenfeld, Senior Fellow at the Philip Merrill Center for Strategic Studies at Johns Hopkins University. She previously served as a Senior Policy Advisor on the U.S. State Department's Israeli-Palestinian negotiating team. And before that, she was a longtime correspondent covering the Middle East. Laura, good to be able to speak to you about this and get your sort of knowledge of the subject. I understand as well you've just been at the Israeli embassy event in D.C. and spoken to the ambassador. What's the message they're trying to get out?
You know, it was a very humbling scene. It was a reception for the Jewish New Year, and they served honey cake, but the mood was kind of bittersweet. And the ambassador talked about the Jewish New Year is known as the Days of Awe, and it's a time for atonement and for reflection. On the one hand, he was expressing deep gratitude to the United States for their backing of Israel throughout the past 11 months and going forward. On the other hand, there was a sense of sort of responsibility and looking inward to try to correct for the mistakes that Israel has made. And I think that's part of what this operation is about in the North, is kind of a second chance, whether it's for failing to see the threat from the South and Gaza, or whether it's failing to kind of take on Lebanon in the right way in 2006 and in 1982. Israel's learned some pretty hard lessons heading north with boots on the ground.
Could you elaborate that about lessons being learned and what that means in the context of what we're seeing at the moment?
Well, you know, it's very easy now. Israel's talking about a limited, localized, and targeted ground raids. But, you know, the word Lebanon in Israel is almost like the word Vietnam in the United States. It's kind of getting bogged down in a slog. What seems to be kind of limited in time-wise could expand greatly and beyond control. So I think what Israel's trying to do, it's boots on the ground. I would call it a kind of Radwan forces root canal, right? These are the special forces that Hezbollah has, who have vowed to sort of carry out what Hamas did in October 7th, which is a infiltration of Israel. I think the United States has an opportunity here. They may not have succeeded in getting a Gaza ceasefire or even a Saudi normalization deal, but with the short time the Biden administration has left, they could see brokering some kind of peace along that northern border so that both Lebanese civilians can get back to their homes and the Israelis can move back, and also give an assist to the Lebanese government. With Hassan Nasrallah removed from power, assassinated, there is an opportunity for Lebanon to get out of dysfunction and kind of toward a better tomorrow, which would be a great legacy for President Biden.
Well, surely any kind of ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel will be predetermined by events that have happened in Gaza, won't it? Hezbollah has said that they are, fighting in support of Palestinians.
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, the twinning of the two conflicts, that is one kind of way to go at it. But, Defense Minister Gallant had said to me years ago, when you kind of go for it, you need to go for it all the way. And I think what Israel's trying to do is they're testing this theory, really, of go big and then go home, to escalate in order to de-escalate. All along, the United States has been pushing the diplomatic route to reorder the Middle East. Israel's trying another way, which is military might. We'll see. It's a huge gamble, but, desperate men, desperate measures. And I do think Netanyahu and all of Israel has seen themselves in kind of a desperate state since October 7th. They see it as a war of annihilation.
Just one quick question. You mentioned there about desperate men making desperate decisions. Is there a political element to this ground operation then, when you're talking about Netanyahu and his grip on power in Israel?
I mean, that's always there. What politician isn't thinking about preserving power? I do think it goes beyond it. I mean, for the United States, there has been some measure of frustration because Israel has been very good at getting up a tree, and then we kind of have to come along and help to get them down, or at least deter Iran as they get themselves into trouble. On the other hand, there has been kind of negotiation where we've been able to moderate, whether Netanyahu has been politically motivated or otherwise. I mean, the last 48 hours have seen intensive negotiations between Washington and Israel. They were planning on going in with a major ground operation. And so it was thanks to some of that influence. I know there's a lot of talk about what kind of leverage do we have over Israel, but actually to kind of roll back whatever the goals are and keep it precise and targeted.
All right, thanks very much for your thoughts and your time today, Laura. Laura Blumenfeld, Senior Fellow at the Philip Merrill Center for Strategic Studies.
Thank you.